it's really the right time all the time. And we have to bring ourselves to the point where we know his timing and where we know how he moves, how he does things in order to help us go through our life. Two of the scriptures that we're going to talk about is 2 Peter 3:9 and also 1 Peter 4:1-3. And 1 Peter 4:1-3 says, "Therefore, since Christ suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves also with the same mind, for he who has suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh for the lust of men, but for the will of God. For we have spent enough of our past lifetime in doing the will of the Gentiles, when we walked in lewdness, lust, drunkenness, rivalries, drinking parties, and abominable idolatries." So when I read that, I thought about all the times in my past life when I was doing stuff, before I knew Christ. It was just, I didn't care about myself. I wanted to party. That was how I forgot stuff. That's how I forgot about being molested. That's how I forgot about being raped. That's how I forgot about being young with children. That's how I forgot about being in an abusive relationship. Being able to forgive people, including my ex, for the things that he's done, and for the times I was molested by, my father and my uncle. It took a minute for me to be able to deal with myself and deal with what God was saying I can do and who he was saying I am. Because when I was going through that stuff, I didn't see a way out. I didn't think that, I didn't think I was anybody. I thought I was just like the lowest of the low. I thought there's a reason why I'm going through this. I'm going through this because this is what I'm supposed to go through. This is part of my suffering. And God doesn't want us to suffer. He doesn't want us to think that we don't count, we don't matter, because we count and we matter. And in order for us to be able to do things, right? Yes. In order for us to deal with life, we have to really look into his word, because when God says stuff, it's like there's something in between. You know how people say read in between the lines?
Yes.
Yeah, you got to read in between the lines with God, because something will be said, but it goes deeper than just what was said. It goes deeper than, what we think with this mind.
Yes.
Because when we think with the mind of Christ, it's always something different. It's always something better. It's always, we can do more. We can be more. We can, survive. We can go through stuff, like troopers, right?
Yes.
Like real soldiers of Christ, and I know for me, when I was going through all that stuff, I didn't know anything. And even when I first got saved,
yes,
I always felt like this isn't for me. This was said for somebody else. This was said for that person and that person, but that's not for me, because I can't possibly, come out from none of that.
Well, when you said about suffering, I'm looking at what the actual scripture said. For as much then as Christ has suffered. So what this says to me is that Christ had already suffered for you for that, but because you wasn't saved, you didn't realize that.